I'm back on Dartmoor for another wild camp, and it has been a while. Since I last did one of these vlogs on Dartmoor, camping has been banned and it was like then allowed in certain places. And recently the appeal was won. So wild camping is back properly on Dartmoor. And we are going to enjoy this beautiful scenery. I've got Great Staple Tor in that direction and I'm staying at Great Mis Tor behind me. We've also got in that direction behind me, we've got Fog and Tor Quarry where I stayed before. And it would not be Dartmoor without a cow crossing on your hike. Devon had some absolutely lovely weather in June if you saw my van conversion, but July has been really disappointing. However, midweek we get some lovely weather like this, and then at the weekend it's going to be back to rain. But as I mentioned before, I'm hoping to spend the night at Great Mis Tor. Now I have visited this tor before and it's very, very rocky around the edges. But once you get in the middle, there's this nice, somewhat flat area of grass. So I'm hoping I can pitch up there. Behind me there is Burrow Tor and Plymouth, so the main light pollution for the Milky Way stuff will be in that direction. I did find last year at Fog and Tor that there was actually way more light pollution than I was anticipating. So I'm a few miles further north of that this time. So I'm hoping that that helps with the light pollution. In the north, or northeast for Perseid, there's not really a lot in that direction apart from more and more, so it should be lovely, clear, dark skies hopefully. At the moment, there is a significant amount of cloud in the north. In the south is quite clear. Clear outside is saying pretty clear skies. It's like 7% clouds. Met Office BBC is saying it's clear all night. Fingers crossed. One thing I did learn at a wild camp that I did with some friends in February was that I needed a new sleeping bag. That one was only 2 season and it was quite old. It wasn't the cocoon style shape. And it got to around 3 degrees at night and I was absolutely freezing. But I've got a new one now and I've used it recently at a festival. Yes, it only went down to about 10 degrees, but I was absolutely boiling in it. So hopefully anything Dartmoor throws my way, late summer, autumn, and in spring as well, it will have no problems. So this is Little Mis Tor, and I am actually considering camping here if Great Mis Tor isn't as flat and rock-free as I remember, because this is a really, really cute looking little tor. And yeah, lots of flat grassy areas around it. So yeah, as I said, it is rather rocky around the outside, and I remember there being a patch of flat grass right in the middle of the tor. So I'm really hope that I'm not remembering differently, because Great Stapleton's near here and I went to that one at a similar time. I've arrived at Great Staple Tor. There is actually another couple right in the middle of the tor. But for the Milky Way composition, that is where the Milky Way is going to be like swinging across the sky towards Burrow Tor and Plymouth. So I think if I put my tent here, which is very flat, I can get some lovely arctic Milky Way over my tent. And then with regards to the hopeful meteor shower, I think northeast is around about that direction over Great Staple. So I could put my other camera down there and obviously try not to disturb the other two camping. Wow, look at that view behind. We've got Brentor Church in the distance, which is the highest church in England, and a gorgeous sunset. It's really misty. I'm going to get my telephoto lens on to take some nice photos of the sun above it. So yeah, the sun has well and truly gone down now. It's time to have some dinner. Annoyingly, my time-lapse putting on my tent didn't seem to work. I usually use the intervalometer, but I thought I'd just try the time-lapse movie mode and it didn't really work, so oh well. I've just got a very simple Jetboil Zip stove with some water and this Firepot Mac and Greens vegan lactose-free DAV recommended kit. Dehydrated meal, 575 calories and 24 grams of protein. So I just need to boil up 400 millilitres of water, stir it and let it stand for 15 minutes or so. So I've got to wait 15 minutes for that now. I have to say, it really didn't look that appealing. I've had their dal before and it was really good. But it's only 8% macaronis. It's made out of, I think, caneli beans and tomatoes. So that's where the protein and the fibre comes from. So I've finished my food now. Yeah, it just didn't really taste of a lot, to be honest. It is quite cloudy still, but then clear outside actually is now predicted. It's not clear till midnight. There's 2 other people camping. I found another tent. And I've found the 2 compositions I think I'd really like. So there's one just behind the camera, which would look over to where hopefully the meteor shower is. And then for that way, which I'll show you in a sec, I think that'll be a really good Milky Way composition actually. I think it'd been quite nice to put my tent there because there's another big rock to shelter. But oh well, I'm here now and yeah, hopefully we'll get some meteors above my tent. And it'd be nice to sit here and just like watch, to be honest. So I completely forgot that it was Plymouth's firework display tonight until I just turned around and saw loads in the distance. Stars are starting to come out. So now we have got to astronomical twilight. It's going to be fully dark in about half an hour. And yeah, this is the direction of my tent and the direction of, well, hopefully, where we'll get some meteors. I'm going to go set up my other camera in a sec. In the composition looking towards Milky Way in Plymouth. Plymouth firework display is still going on, to be fair. I know their competition is a long one. Yeah, I'm just going to let this film and see if I can capture any shooting stars in real time, because that'd be super cool. I've never done that before. So the Milky Way is out there. You should be able to see it in the centre of your screen. And the fireworks are still going off in that direction. There's only a 20mm lens, it's quite hard to see. I've been sitting here about 20-30 minutes. It's now fully dark. I've not seen any shooting stars in this direction yet. I've checked night sky app, and this is like the radiant point, but obviously they can hit the atmosphere really anywhere. It's just they come from that radiant point. The Milky Way is going to come through this little gap that you should hopefully be able to see on your screen. But yeah, I'm going to leave my camera here and go set up the other one, and I'll see you in the morning. Wow, so good morning. It's a very, very misty morning. It was very eerie when I first got up to town, but it's starting to clear just above where the sun's going to rise in about 15 minutes. So, you'd have seen those time lapses before me, but each camera's captured the best part of 700 images. So I'm really hoping there's something good there. I've had a look at this one. Yeah, the Milky Way sat through the archway gap in the Tor, which I think looks quite nice. But yeah, I've not seen if we captured any meteorites yet. So as I mentioned before, this weekday, so I've got work, so I'm going to pack up shortly. But if it does clear up, I will try and get some sunrise shots. So I'm all packed up now, as hopefully you should be able to see behind me. It is incredibly misty still, but there is some brightness coming from the sunrise direction. So I'm just going to take a look before I head off, if we can see anything. That's so weird. The sun, you can see through the clouds as like a white ball. It pretty much looks like the moon at the moment. Hopefully you can hear me. It's really windy. As always with wild camping, make sure you leave no trace. Behind me was where my tent was, and the only evidence possibly is a bit of squash grass. All the rubbish taken with me. And yeah, if you do go out to wild camp, make sure you enjoy yourself. Wow, the clouds are starting to clear ever so slightly. And I was just like, wow, look how pretty that looks in the distance.